Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we transform your essential learning materials into practical, actionable insights. Today, we're diving deep into a crucial chapter from Clara E. Hill's Helping Skills, specifically focusing on skills for exploring feelings. This deep dive is really custom tailored for you, whether you're an aspiring counselor or maybe already in psychology practice, giving you a shortcut to mastering emotional exploration.
That's right. And this chapter, it's just so foundational, isn't it? It really highlights how connecting with emotions isn't just, important. It's often the key to real therapeutic progress.
Yeah.
Think of Carl Rogers, who said clients who make significant progress, well, they live more intimately with their feelings of pain, but also more vividly with their feelings of ecstasy.
Right.
So our mission today is basically to unpack 3 essential skills to help clients do just that: reflections of feelings, disclosure of feelings, and open questions and probes about feelings.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So we're moving beyond just the content of what a client says,
Yeah,
which we might focus on elsewhere, and really diving into the emotional component underneath it all.
exactly.
It's about helping clients connect their emotions with their thoughts, right? For a more complete, sort of integrated internal experience.
Precisely. And what's truly fascinating is the rationale, the why behind focusing so intently on feelings. I
Hmm.
mean, at its core, emotions aren't just reactions. They're vital signals about our needs, our experiences.
Okay.
When we ignore them or, repress them, maybe because we heard big people don't cry, we basically disconnect from ourselves.
Mm,
And the goal isn't always to feel better right away,
right.
but to actually experience emotions more deeply,
Mm-hmm.
to let them flow instead of getting stuck.
So it's not about like dodging the discomfort, but really embracing the whole spectrum, even the tough stuff.
Exactly. And there's solid science here too. Evolutionarily, emotions like fear or anger, they prepare us for action, fight, or flight.
Right. Basics.
And biologically, get this, research shows that just putting word to a feeling, what they call affect labeling,
Affect labeling. Okay.
it can actually dial down the brain's alarm system, the amygdala, and boost activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's key for emotional regulation.
Wow. Okay. So just naming it helps regulate it.
That's what the research suggests, yeah.
Yeah.
Just naming a feeling can literally change your brain's response.
That's a powerful insight. So the act of articulating it isn't just mental, it's like physically doing something.
It really is. And it tells us that this simple act can kickstart a profound process. When clients can experience old feelings, understand their context, it helps them work through those unconscious meanings.
Hmm.
It kind of merges self-understanding with emotional re-experiencing. And that leads to a sense of mastery, control, autonomy over those emotions.
So you become less afraid of your own internal world, basically.
You got it. And this emotional expression, it also significantly strengthens the therapeutic relationship and leads to better outcomes.
Okay, so digging into feelings helps the client, and it cements that helper-client bond.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it gives us a much deeper understanding of the client's unique experience. People interpret things so differently.
Mm-hmm.
Take the example of Varda. She came in after her father died. You expect sadness,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, really. Natural.
But Varda actually expressed anger
Mm.
and relief. Anger because, well, it was only safe to recall childhood sexual abuse after he was gone.
Oh, wow.
And relief because she didn't have to deal with him anymore. It just shows why we absolutely cannot impose our assumptions.
That's such a crucial point for helpers, isn't it? Not projecting our own stuff onto the client.
Couldn't agree more. And feelings, they're so dynamic. Once you fully experience them,
Hmm.
they aren't static. They shift.
Right.
Varda's anger eventually led to sadness, then acceptance, peace. So our goal is to help clients fully experience it all, joy or sorrow, so they can make informed decisions, not unconsciously leak unaccepted feelings destructively.
Leaking feelings, like passive aggression almost?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Think of someone who gets really hostile towards a friend who got into law school just because they themselves were rejected.
Mm-hmm. I can picture that.
Their unprocessed disappointment leaks out as anger at someone else.
Yeah, that's so relatable. We all know people who kind of communicate sideways because they can't own that initial vulnerable feeling.
Exactly. And it's important to remember feelings are rarely simple. Diana, for example, excited about a new job. She might also feel anxious, afraid, insecure, worried, all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So helpers need to encourage exploring all of that, even the contradictory stuff, without judgment.
Okay.
And what's interesting is often the first emotion someone shows, like anger, might be a secondary emotion.
A secondary one, like a cover.
Kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
a protective layer.
Yeah.
Underneath, you might find those primary vulnerable emotions: sadness, fear, shame. Those are often the core feelings holding the key to change.
Ah, okay.
But getting to those, well, that requires a really safe environment.
So we're talking about peeling back layers to get to the real stuff, and those primary emotions are where the deeper work happens.
Exactly. And, research backs this up. A study by Svieli and Diamond looked at therapy for unresolved anger.
Okay.
They found focusing on those primary vulnerable emotions, unmet needs, using things like empty chair work that was effective.
Mm-hmm.
But just focusing on the secondary anger or giving advice or reassurance, that didn't lead to the same deep emotional processing. It really highlights diving into those core difficult feelings.
Okay, so we've got this picture of emotions as core, maybe layered. But what about culture or gender? Do the rules just completely change that?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It gets really interesting here. While emotions themselves are universal, how they're expressed, or even if they're expressed, varies hugely across cultures.
Right.
In the U.S., there's generally this, encouragement for openness. But in many non-American cultures, people are often much more reserved, especially outside the family.
Can you give an example?
Sure. A Nigerian student might just not express negative feelings in public. Or in many Asian cultures, emotional restraint is highly valued. Talking about feelings openly could bring shame or embarrassment, like you're airing dirty laundry.
Wow. So what we see as healthy openness could actually be seen as inappropriate or disrespectful elsewhere.
Precisely. And research shows how these cultural messages about suppressing emotions get internalized really early on.
Mm.
We also see gender differences. Men, due to socialization, often face more difficulty expressing feelings. Think of the whole be tough, man up thing.
Yeah, those stereotypes run deep. So we can't just assume everyone's comfortable or even allowed to express feelings the same way. What's the takeaway for us as helpers then?
It means we have to be incredibly sensitive, adaptable. Some clients might need a really clear reason, a rationale for why focusing on feelings is helpful, to overcome concerns about losing face or respect.
Mm.
So it demands that we as helpers are mindful, we educate clients appropriately, and we don't just expect everyone to fit one mold of emotional expression.
Okay, that's super important context. So we know why exploring feelings is vital. We know about the cultural nuances. Now let's get practical with the how. 3 core skills you said. Where do we start?
Right, let's dive into the skills. We'll start with what many consider the cornerstone, reflection of feelings.
Reflection of feelings. Okay.
Basically, it's a statement that explicitly labels a client's feeling. You're inferring it not just from words, but also nonverbals, tone, body language, and the context of their story.
Mm-hmm.
You might say tentatively, like, I wonder if you're feeling angry, or maybe more directly, it sounds like you're feeling angry.
Okay. And when we do that, what are we actually hoping happens for the client? What's the goal?
Well, our intentions are kind of layered. We want to help them identify feelings, maybe intensify them a bit, to encourage release, catharsis.
Okay.
It clarifies the emotion for them, shows they're understood, which instills hope and helps them gain self-control through awareness. When it works well, clients often experience feelings more deeply, get clearer, take ownership, feel less stuck. The main goal is really affective exploration.
Effective exploration. Got it. So what are some of the concrete benefits a client gets when we reflect effectively?
Oh, huge benefits. One major one is just helping them label and experience the feeling. So many people struggle to articulate what's going on inside.
Yeah.
A reflection helps put words to those vague body sensations. Moving from something in my stomach to maybe worry, then fear, then perhaps apprehensive.
Ah, like they're refining the label.
Exactly. It's like co-constructing the feeling from what might start as an amorphous blob.
Yeah.
And hearing a reflection lets them check it. Does that word fit? Which can lead even deeper. They might say, maybe not disgusted. More
Jeff.
annoyed. Yeah, annoyed. But maybe, yeah, a little disgusted too.
Right. It opens up complexity.
It does. It helps them admit complex, even contradictory feelings without fearing judgment. And crucially, reflections provide validation. They help clients feel less crazy,
Yeah.
more accepting that their feelings are normal.
It sounds like reflections also kind of model healthy emotional expression, especially for clients maybe out of touch with their feelings.
Absolutely. When you gently say, I wonder if you feel frustrated with your sister, you're modeling how to articulate it and implying it's okay to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, it builds the relationship. It shows you're really trying to understand their inner world. That builds empathy, trust.
That connection piece is
Yeah.
key. Okay, so how do we actually do it well? Make it sound natural.
The basic format is simple. You feel or you feel, because or. You could even just offer the feeling word, tentatively, like angry,
Mm-hmm.
but vary your phrasing. Avoid sounding robotic. Try things like, I wonder if you're feeling, you sound, you seem. My hunch is that you feel.
Okay, mix it up.
Yeah, metaphors can work too. It's like you're caught in a fight.
Yeah.
Focus on one main feeling at a time. Match the intensity, say irritated, not enraged if it's mild,
Right, matching intensity.
and stay tentative unless you're feeling upset. It invites them to explore rather than shutting them down, and focus on the now. Even if the event was past, ask about the feeling now. You still feel angry thinking about what he said, and be patient. Give them space to absorb it. If they get upset, encourage the experience. Don't rush to fix it. Your role is supportive, kind of in the background, letting them focus inward.
Okay, supportive background. And where do we get the clues for these reflections? What are we listening or looking for?
4 main sources.
Right.
First, overt expression when they just say it, I was so mad. Easy enough.
Right.
Second, verbal content inferring from what they talk about. Major loss usually means sadness. But be careful. Good grades might look like pride, but maybe they feel icky because of a bribe, revealing ambivalence.
Okay, look deeper.
Third, nonverbal behavior. Calm face, but foot tapping furiously. Might be nervousness, anger.
Yeah.
Watch for those disconnects. And finally, your own feelings projection, basically.
Yeah.
Ask, how would I feel?
This gives hypotheses, but remember, it's just a guess. Always check with the client.
Okay, use our own feelings cautiously. And how spot on does the reflection need to be? Does it have to be perfect? Not perfect, no, just in the ballpark. If you say tense and they're feeling scared, they can clarify maybe to terror. Sometimes being too accurate can actually stop the exploration.
Oh, interesting.
But a reflection that's way off, like saying happy, when they're clearly tense, they can make them feel really misunderstood.
Right. That would shut things down.
And watch out if clients just agree with whatever you say because you're the expert.
Mm.
That hinders their own exploration. Good reflections help them go deeper.
Makes sense. So when is the best time to use reflections? And maybe more importantly, when should we definitely not use them?
Good question. Use them when you have a strong bond, when the client seems ready to work on emotions, or if they're avoiding feelings, like intellectualizing.
Yeah.
Also helpful if maladaptive behavior seems linked to low emotional awareness, or for reprocessing trauma, but not right after the trauma.
Okay. And when to hold back?
Hold back if the relationship feels weak, if the client's overwhelmed by severe issues in a major crisis, or has a history of aggression, self-harm, poor emotion regulation. Also, if there's strong resistance, not enough time, or if you feel inexperienced with intense distress.
Right.
In those cases, focus on regulation first, like relaxation techniques before diving deep.
Facilitate, don't flood. Got it. Can you give an example of reflection and action?
Sure. Client says, I had to miss classes. My father was in a serious accident. You might start with, wow, you sound very upset. As they talk more about his struggles, maybe you sound concerned with all the bad things happening to him lately. Later, if they talk about always trying to please him, you might gently offer, that sounds really painful. I wonder if you might feel angry too.
Okay, that gradual layering makes sense. It allows them to access it safely.
Exactly. And as a helper, yeah, you might get nervous with intense feelings. Just remind yourself, feelings are natural. They need expression. Your job is guide, not fix.
Right. Guide, not fix. Okay, that covers reflections. What's the second skill?
Second skill is disclosure of feelings. This is where you, the helper, reveal a feeling you had or have. It creates a moment of shared humanity.
Sharing your own feelings.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the benefits and how do we do that appropriately?
Yeah, it's a statement about a feeling you had in a similar situation, like, when I was breaking up with my partner, I felt incredibly sad and lost. Or, hypothetically, if I were in your shoes, I think I might feel pretty angry. You can even disclose a feeling in the moment. Just hearing you talk about that, I notice I feel some tension in my shoulders.
Okay.
The benefit, it's powerful modeling and normalization. It shows clients, hey, others feel this way too, even my helper. That fosters universality, which is really healing.
Feeling less alone.
And it lets you own your projection gently. I feel, and I wonder if you might feel that way. It's an invitation, not telling them how they feel.
Okay, so it's more inviting. How do we do it effectively without, making the session about us?
Great question. Key is, own it clearly. I felt X, and I wonder if that fits for you. Be authentic. Don't make stuff up. Hypotheticals are okay if stated clearly. Like reflections, one feeling at a time, match the intensity. Crucially, don't disclose anything that makes you feel too vulnerable. And always, always disclose for the client's benefit, keep it brief, and immediately turn the focus back to them.
Right, keep it brief and client-focused.
Exactly. Example, client fears you can't help. You might say, I get that fear. I was pretty nervous seeing a therapist for the first time, too. This normalizes it, might help them open up more about their own worries.
Okay, that makes sense. Use it sparingly, purposefully. Then the third skill.
The third one is open questions and probes about feelings. This is probably the most direct approach.
Seems straightforward.
It is. If you want clients to express feelings, this is often the most efficient way. You're asking them to clarify or explore feelings, but in a way that doesn't limit them to a yes or no. Like, how do you feel about that right now? Or, tell me more about your feelings around that. The aim is to gently focus, clarify, encourage catharsis, identify feelings. Clients usually gain clarity and experience the feelings more fully.
Okay. Any tips for using these well so we don't sound like we're interrogating them?
Yeah, absolutely. Always convey empathy, even in the question. Make sure it's truly open-ended. And vary the format. Don't just keep asking, how do you feel?
Right, avoid repetition.
Try, what was that like for you? Or tell me about that experience. Avoid firing off multiple questions. Definitely avoid why questions. They can sound judgmental.
What can feel blaming?
Exactly. Don't focus on others' feelings, stick with the clients, and don't try to cover too much at once. Each question should gently guide their internal search.
Got it. Can you
What?
give an example here?
Sure. Client talks about having to go to community college after their parents' divorce. You might ask, what are you feeling right now, thinking about that? They say, disappointed, angry. You reflect the anger, then follow up. Tell me more about that anger. What's that like? This might prompt them to say, I feel betrayed,
Mm.
opening up a deeper layer.
Okay. Using it to go deeper after a reflection. So we have these three tools. Reflection, disclosure, open questions. How do they compare? When do we pick which one?
Well, personally, I often find reflection of feelings the most powerful for exploring. It just screams empathy, active listening. I'm working hard to get you. It helps clients immerse themselves, accept feelings, move through them. They feel really heard. Disclosures can kind of soften things, especially if you turn it back quickly. Does that resonate for you at all?
And I guess using only reflections could get a bit repetitive.
Exactly. Relying too much on reflections or disclosures can feel tedious, even artificial. That's where open questions come in handy. They're direct invitations to talk feelings. Very efficient.
But there's a caution there too, right?
Definitely. If a client really struggles to identify feelings, a blunt "how are you feeling" can spike anxiety or make them shut down. It can even feel like you weren't listening if they just shared something huge.
Ouch. Yeah. So maybe combining them is the way to go.
Often, yes. A nuanced approach works best. You can reflect, you sound sad, let them respond, then ask gently, can you tell me a bit more about that feeling of sadness? It blends the empathy of reflection with the directness of a question. It's about choosing the right tool for the right client at the right moment.
Wow, what a deep dive into the absolute heart of client exploration. It's so clear that understanding and accepting emotions is just central, isn't it? For client growth and, frankly, for our own development as helpers.
It really is. As helpers, our role is to foster that acceptance, that deep exploration, but always sensitively, making sure clients don't get overwhelmed. And so importantly, we need to be comfortable with our own feelings and really careful not to impose them. It's a continuous journey for everyone involved.
This has been incredibly insightful, really practical for anyone heading into counseling or psychology. And it leaves me, and hopefully you listening, with a really important question to think about. How might your own cultural background influence how you experience and express your feelings? And how could that then impact how you work with the feelings of others in a session?
That's such a vital question for self-reflection in this work.
So that brings us to the end of this deep dive into skills for exploring feelings from Clara Hill's Helping Skills. We've covered the why, the what, those three core skills,
Yeah.
reflection, disclosure, open questions, and how to use them effectively and sensitively.
And just remember, the goal is creating that safe, understanding space. A space where clients can identify, truly experience, and ultimately gain a sense of mastery over their own emotional world. These skills, they're your foundation for rapport, insight, and genuine client growth.
For more practice exercises, labs, all sorts of resources to help you master these skills, you can check out the companion website for the book. It's at pubs.apa.org, books Sup Hill 5. Thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.